Hello, MCU fans. Today we're going to be breaking down the Marvels trailer number 2 and all the big reveals. Also, we'll be talking about trailer number 1 and incorporating all the scenes together, tying them all together, and discussing how I think Secret Invasion will be leading into the Marvels movie. So there's lots to discuss. Let's dive right in and see what we can find out. So in the first trailer, we actually saw that the Marvel Studios logo was swapped. And then like our characters, 3 characters in the movie, it gets swapped back again. So I kind of liked that one. I thought that was pretty clever. But for trailer number 2, they switched it up, and this time the letter S in Studios gets a little special treatment and becomes the Miss Marvel logo. I don't know which one will actually be used in the movie itself, but I really like that Marvel kind of toys around with their Marvel Studios logo in each of their entries, whether it be movie or TV show. Pretty cool. All right, so we open with Carol out in space. Like, literally out in space, because, she can breathe out there, or doesn't need air to breathe. But we also see her tooling around in her spaceship across the galaxy, and we really get this idea that she is all alone. She's kind of a workaholic. She feels that she's got to go save the galaxy by herself, that no one else can do it. And I think that's going to be one of the themes of the movie, a recurring theme, that you know what? You don't have to do it alone. There's others that can help. We're here for you. So we'll see how this all plays out, but I think we're going to see that's definitely going to be one of the themes of the movie. We do see, though, that she still remembers Monica and Maria, and she has their pictures posted on the wall. And I'm guessing that this picture of Monica is fairly recent, maybe when she went back to Earth right after the snap, remember at the beginning of Endgame, or when she returned to Earth for the Battle of Earth at the end of the movie. One of those 2 times, she probably picked up that flyer and kept it. So that's pretty cool. But you wonder, does Carol realize how upset with her Monica may be? Because in WandaVision, remember when Jimmy Woo brought up Captain Marvel's name, Monica said, "We are not talking about her." So presumably she's upset because Carol was gone when Maria died of cancer, during the 5-year blip. So it'll just be interesting to see how that gets resolved. I'm sure it'll happen pretty quick, but still, it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But one interesting thing, too, we see that the ship that Carol's on also has our buddy Goose, the Flurkin, and he's helping make the coffee, as a good Flurkin should. I guess it could be for Goose himself, although I doubt Flurkin drink coffee, especially because it looks like Carol's then going over to get it herself. But, I will say, I don't think I would want to fly around in space for 30 years by myself, but if I had to, I'd like a setup just like this. This is pretty sweet. She's got a good setup. And then when Fury gives her a call, we see more of her setup there. Pretty sweet. Fury gives her a call, and of course Fury is calling from the S.A.B.E.R space station. Now, this is from the first trailer where we first were introduced to what it looked like, and presumably this is the same thing as the Peak in the comics. It's been renamed to S.A.B.E.R for the movies, but in both cases, it's the Sword headquarters orbiting the Earth. And we first saw S.A.B.E.R, technically the inside of the space station in Far From Home. And the aesthetic looks a little different because they probably hadn't nailed it down yet. But yeah, this is definitely the same space station. And in Far From Home, we saw that Fury is working with Skrulls on the space station, which they didn't really explain this in Secret Invasion. Why didn't these Skrulls help him? I know he wanted to do everything by himself, but still, I just hope they kind of tie this together. Especially because in the trailer, we see that it's not Skrulls staffing the space station, but it looks like it's staffed now by humans. Or maybe it's humans that have been, or Skrulls that are forced to be human in appearance. Maybe that's part of the agreement after Secret Invasion, that if they're going to stay on Earth, they have to look human. I don't know, but I really do hope they kind of tie this together. But I also like that Fury refers to Carol as the prodigal child. Of course, I think that's a reference to the prodigal son parable from the Bible, which if you remember that parable or if you've never heard it, basically the son leaves home, asks for his inheritance, leaves home, roams the earth, spends it all, and realizes, I got to go back home. And he assumes his dad's not going to want to see him again. But he does come back home, and sure enough, his dad welcomes him with open arms. So I think that's why Fury is referring to Carol as the prodigal child, not of the earth, but of the Milky Way. So in other words, she didn't just go explore the Earth, she explored the galaxy. And she probably feels like she's not welcome back home again. But she's going to soon discover when she meets Miss Marvel, as one example, people love Carol. They're total fangirls for Carol. Carol saved the Earth. So again, it just ties to this whole, you don't have to do this alone. People care about you. And it's going to be a really good character arc, I think, for Carol in the movie. We do see that not only can Fury call Carol, But he also has the pager still sitting around, because in the first trailer, we saw this little Easter egg of the pager sitting there on the desk. And we also learned from Secret Invasion that S.A.B.E.R is the most complex aerospace defense system in the history of mankind. And I think it is going to come in very handy in the Marvels movie, because as we're going to see near the end of the movie, it looks like they're going to need it to protect Earth from a Skrull attack, or from a Kree attack, rather. Also, we learned that Fury basically has been on the space station for years. If you've been watching Secret Invasion, you know that Talos and many of the Skrulls were mad, because when Fury came back from the blip, he basically went up to the space station and has stayed up there all this time. So, in a way, though, it's good, because like I say, I think we're going to need the space station to protect the Earth big time. All right, so the villain. I've alluded we may need the space station. Well, what do we need it to protect us from? Well, we need it to protect us from Zawe Ashton, who, ironically, is engaged to Tom Hiddleston. So villainy seems to come in pairs. Now, I say engaged. You may have thought they were married because they have had kids, but no, they're just engaged. But man, their kids are guaranteed to be villains in the MCU, right? But I love this quote where she says about Tom, when talking about, when she was now entering the MCU, she says, one of the main takeaways from our conversations was, what you put into Marvel, you get back. He, Tom, said, if you go into it with an open heart and a great work ethic and just want to provide an amazing experience for the fans, you'll have an amazing experience on those sets. He really empowered me in that way. They are so sweet together. I love it. I love it. But yeah, they have an engagement coming up. But before that, she's got to be the main villain in the Marvels. Dar-Benn is her name, and she is a Kree revolutionary, and she is armored up. Notice on her right arm, that is the other bangle. Remember the first bangle we saw in the Miss Marvel show on a dead Kree arm, appropriately enough. And then in her left hand is what appears to be something very similar to Ronan's weapon from Guardians of the Galaxy. So yeah, she is ready for a fight. Remember, Ronan, of course, died in Guardians of the Galaxy. So I don't know if she's got the same weapon or she's upgraded it, but I'm sure we'll find out. And by the way, since there's going to be Kree in this movie, please, Marvel, please, could we pay off this Easter egg from Far From Home? If you turn on closed captioning, there's one point when Fury says, I thought Kree having sleeper cells was top secret information. And then we've never heard anything about this again. So it's on my list of open questions waiting for an answer, really hoping they tie this together now that we have Kree appearing. So we'll see. But yeah, Dar-Benn is very upset with Captain Marvel. She calls Captain Marvel the Annihilator. Now, we're not sure why. I mean, we can presume that Carol, after the first Captain Marvel movie, went to the Kree homeworld and either disabled, destroyed, killed the Supreme Intelligence. So who knows what happened after that? Because in Guardians of the Galaxy, Ronan seems to refer not to the Supreme Intelligence, but to the Kree Emperor. But nonetheless, it seems like it's a little more personal for Dar-Benn, because she says, you took everything from me. And they overlay that with Carol flying through space in a random shot. But the point is, Dar-Benn is specifically upset with Carol. And she says, now I'm returning the favor. And what's interesting here is, notice the bangle. It looks like maybe she just discovered it because it's really dusty. But she puts it on. And I think this is really what starts activating their power sets, because they then show us that Carol is off on a planet, maybe the same planet, investigating an anomaly. Monica, as we saw particularly a little more fleshed out in the first trailer, she is investigating a jump point outside of the S.A.B.E.R space station. And good old Kamala is avoiding doing her homework, laying on her bed, because her mom's shouting up and saying it doesn't sound like science to me. So that's where all three of them are at the moment when Dar-Benn seems to open a portal with the bangle. And what's interesting is the Beastie Boys song, Intergalactic, is playing throughout the trailer. And notice the lyric, Another Dimension, seems to repeat over and over again as we see each of our heroes just before the swap. So Dar-Benn opens the portal, Another Dimension. We see Carol, Another Dimension. Monica, a wide shot, Another Dimension. And finally Kamala, looking at her bangle, Another Dimension. And then at that point, all three of their powers are activated and the swapping starts. So it looks like Dar-Benn started it happening, and then after that, anytime they use their powers, it continues to happen. Very interesting. So we saw in the first trailer that Kamala ends up inside Monica's spacesuit, floating out in space, waving at Nick Fury. And by the way, this is why I'm pretty sure Nick Fury is going to live at the end of Secret Invasion, because it would just be so weird if this was a Skrull pretending to be him. I mean, I don't know. It could be, but that would be really lame. I'm guessing that whatever happens at the end, he's fully restored. He's a hero once again, and that's why Kamala is so happy to see him. And in fact, is hoping this is an Avengers test. Then Monica gets sent to the planet, I'm guessing, that Carol was investigating. She's wearing whatever she was wearing inside her spacesuit, and this is again from the first trailer, and she's attacked by Kree assailants. And then Carol, in the end credit scene from the Ms. Marvel TV show, appears in Kamala's room, and I'm presuming then goes downstairs. And I think somehow some of those Kree soldiers, they are also being transported to different places, because when Monica uses her powers one more time, notice now there's Kree soldiers inside Kamala's house. But also notice Captain Marvel is now seemingly being transported away. So it's not clear whether she ended up fighting those soldiers, or maybe Kamala's parents end up fighting them. I don't know what happens. But I do think during one of these swaps, that's when Kamala ends up on this spaceship. The reason I think so is notice she's wearing her tennies and her original costume, not the newer one at the end of the movie. So I'm guessing this is during all those crazy swaps, because she probably wouldn't wear tennies for her superhero outfit. But anyway, on this spaceship, she does some pretty cool action moves. I love this one where she slides across her hard light. She's powered up her fist, and she's powered up her foot. Pretty cool. Then she tosses the gun over to Fury, so it looks like she must be on the S.A.B.E.R space station or somewhere nearby there. And Fury, of course, goes into action. Then at some point, there's another swap, and Kamala, because you can see she's kind of swapping right there, lands in a hallway. Thank goodness Goose is hanging out. And boom, he does some flirking action, and bye-bye, Kree soldiers. See ya. Don't want to be ya. So anyway, I'm not sure when that happens. Oh, by the way, I should say, because notice she's got her tennies on still. So, and her old costume. So definitely whenever this scene with Goose is happening, that is during all the swapping. And then I don't know when this scene happens, but I just got to make sure to mention, I love the baby flirkin. I'm assuming these are Goose's kids, right? Because, man, this is the most adorable scene of the entire second trailer. Love it. Now, I'm assuming they can also wipe people out with their flirkin insides and tentacles, so they're not as cute as they seem if you make them mad, but yeah, they're sweet. And of course, even Nick Fury has to make peace with Goose. He says, "Who's a good kitty, Goose?" And I'm wondering if that's a little smirk on Goose's face, as Goose is thinking, "Oh, I'm a good kitty, and by the way, how do you like your eye?" So, I don't know. But that's nice. Fury, no hard feelings. Fury lets it all go. All right. So at some point during all these swaps, Monica gets a new suit, because notice now she's got her white sword outfit on. And then she ends up back in Kamala's house fighting the Kree soldiers, which we see in the second trailer. I love this scene. That's pretty cool. And then looks like she's going to transport away just in time, or she would have gotten knifed. But yeah, then finally, at some point, the swapping slows down a bit, and both Fury and Monica show up at Kamala's house. And we see there's a Kree soldier there, because not all of them are blue skin. Some are pink / skin tones coloration. Saves on costuming and makeup. But we see one has been captured, and we see all the damage sitting on the floor. And then I love this because Monica starts to try to piece this all together. She says, "Okay, our powers are entangled. You," referring to Captain Marvel, "you can absorb light." And I really think she's saying that, but it seems like Captain Marvel at this point must be flying out in the sky above their home. Because, and you'll see why in a second, because she says, "You can absorb light, I can see it," and she, Kamala, can turn light into physical matter? She's like, "I've never seen anything like that before." To which Kamala says, "Oh, I can totally show you," uses her powers, and swaps, so that Captain Marvel is now ticked, but back in the house, and Kamala's in space, notice, and she's wearing the same thing she was wearing in that scene. I love that shirt, too. Surely that shirt's going to be for sale, right? But as she's falling, she tries to do some hard light to protect herself, which was, probably never going to work above New Jersey. But Monica now somehow has learned how to fly, which is great, and goes in to save her. So, yeah, it kind of seems like after this scene, the swapping calms down. So I'm not sure what they do to figure it out, but somehow they realize they can't use their powers or everything goes crazy. All right, so then the scene shifts to the planet Aladna. Hope I'm saying that right, which is definitely going to be one of the main settings and one of the main fight scenes. And it's a beautiful planet where clearly they are fans of Bollywood, right? Doing the dancing. Either they're trying out for a Kingo movie or they just love the Kingo movies. But we see Carol kind of in disguise there, and we see Kamala and Monica behind her. And I'm not going to go into what the relationship she seems to have with Prince Jan, nor why she seems to have it, because they don't reveal it in the trailers. If you're interested, you can Google it. It's out there. There's some rumors / spoilers on what's going on here. I'm not going to say any more than what they said in the trailer, but clearly it seems like they are good friends, right? But another hint to the way at least Carol feels about Aladna is Dar-Benn says, Carol says about Dar-Benn that she's targeting every planet we call home. So it seems Carol must be calling Aladna home because we see Dar-Benn striking together again Ronan's weapon and the bangle to create something, maybe another portal. In fact, it might be this portal right here. Notice in the sky, there's a portal, and it seems to be sucking the water off of the planet Aladna. And this Prince Jan now is ready for combat. He's dancing in one scene, but man, he's ready to throw down here. And this is a little hard to see, but this is Carol flying through the sky, crashing through a ship. And what's important is notice when she's in the sky, that is Aladna in the background. So this must be a special place to Carol, right? Because she seems to be calling it, considering it like home. But all right, in addition to attacking Aladna, looks like they're also going to be coming to Earth to fight. Because this scene from trailer number 2 on the space station seems to go with this scene from trailer number 1 where Nick Fury is saying shields up. So my guess is that S.A.B.E.R is going to get attacked, and so obviously it's a good thing that Fury did all that work to get it going. And it looks also like there is a shuttlecraft heading to Earth, and I don't know why, but it looks like one of the Flurkin is going nuts. If you look in the window there. At first I thought it was a Hydra symbol. I'm like, oh, come on, Hydra, stop it. But no, it looks like the Flurkin going nuts there. But I love this. They pass by the Statue of Liberty, which correctly has been restored to its copper color, because if you remember in No Way Home, they deoxidized it. But notice in the upper left-hand corner, looks like maybe that's Captain America's shield back in the Statue of Liberty's arm. I kind of hope not. I mean, it was a clever idea to put the shield there, but it wasn't going to work, and that's why it fell off. But I don't know. Tell me what you think. Is that the shield back in place there? But back to No Way Home. Remember, in No Way Home, here the shield had fallen off by this point. But notice they had deoxidized the statue back to its original color. And what I think is kind of funny, though, is infamously, Miss Marvel's TV show had messed up and actually showed the Statue of Liberty in its oxidized green color. But then they went back, and I'll give Marvel huge credit, and they fixed it. So if you go watch it now, it's actually back to the correct color. In fact, I did an entire video on all the times Disney Plus has changed something from the way it was originally released to the way it is now. And that's actually been my best performing video. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's pretty cool. I think it was like 250,000 views or something, but fascinating stuff. But nonetheless, it's ironic that the Miss Marvel show actually messed up. And here the direct.com again shows us another example. They messed up and fixed it. And then now, at least in the movie, it's correct. They got it right this time. But I don't know why No Way Home did that. Was that Sony's way of just sticking a finger in the eye of Marvel to say, haha, we're going to make you have to change the color of the Statue of Liberty every single time after our movie? Because we're just trying to be a pain. Who knows, right? That would be a Sony thing to do. But anyway, back to that original theme I said of Carol and you don't have to go it alone. I love this, where Monica says, you're not the only thing standing between this and the universe. That's really cool. And those are some ticked off Kree, by the way. But yeah, Carol's not alone. So it'll be interesting to see how this all resolves, but I think it's going to be really cool to see Carol realizing that, she can work with others. In fact, speaking of working with others, in the first trailer, I still love this, Kamala says, so we're a team? And Monica's like, oh, no, we're not a team. And Carol's like, we're not a team. Well, they may not be a team, but They sure do look good together, right? And Kamala there may need another pair of pants after after going on this spaceship ride. But yeah, one way or another, they're a team, and a great team at that. So it's kind of fun too. They start having some fun camaraderie. I like this scene in the trailer number 2 where Monica says, I can't. Can you? And Carol's like, yeah, I got it. I have no idea what they're referring to, but I bet it's going to be pretty awesome. I am really looking forward to seeing the three of them play off each other. I think it's going to be one of the best things in the movie. Always look forward to characters that haven't interacted getting that first time to interact together. So many great lines come out of that. And then the final fight looks amazing. Everybody's got their new costumes and they're ready to throw down. They're standing in formation and boom, they take off. And notice Kamala is sliding there on the hard light and making the platforms there for Monica to jump across. And then this has got to be one of the coolest shots of the trailer. The three of them, and then there's Monica firing away. Carol's got the weapon, and then Kamala is using her hard light. So really, really cool. And then we see, this is more in the first trailer, but it all fits together, that they're still using the swapping to their advantage. So there's Kamala, blocking Dar-Benn's attack with her hard light. But then notice, because she used her powers, she fades away, and Monica comes in. Really cool. And then as she spins around, looks like Carol's about to drop the hammer. Drop the hammer for good there. So yeah, it's going to be a very, very cool fight. Really looking forward to this movie. I hope you are too. In fact, won't be long, right? We just got to wait for November 10th. It'll be right around the corner. But so the last thing I want to talk about is continuity and how this is all going to fit together. So obviously Fury has appeared several times since Endgame. We saw him in Far From Home, then Secret Invasion, and then now in the Marvels. And Monica, we saw her in WandaVision when she was told that I was sent by an old friend of your mother's, obviously referring to Fury, and that he wants you up there in the S.A.B.E.R space station, which is why she heads up there. And of course, Kamala, we know that her scene is during her school year. And I had assumed her junior year, but we're going to see it might actually be her senior year. Pretty crazy. But so we got all that to consider. So then we know that WandaVision is in November of 2023. Far From Home is June, July of 2024. Because Wakanda Forever fits so nicely in with everything. I'm putting it on here as well. Ms. Marvel and her TV show is from September to October of 2025. Secret Invasion then follows after Far From Home and Wakanda Forever. And the Marvels takes place after WandaVision and Ms. Marvel. And then I'm pretty sure, 99% sure, that Secret Invasion then leads into the Marvels. So now these dates, I've gone over each of these dates separately in the different videos for each of these shows. So I won't repeat here where those dates come from, but those are pretty established dates. The Marvel Cinematic Universe Wiki agrees with them. So yeah, we're pretty sure this is where we're at. Here's what's crazy though. So when does the Marvels happen? Well, we do see a scene in the Marvels where it looks like spring has sprung, if you will, because notice the tree where it's New Jersey. That's where Kamala lives. So in New Jersey, we got to be talking April, May, sometime in that time frame. Now, sometimes you can't trust things outside because it's not so much a hint to the timeline, but it was when the scene was actually filmed. It has nothing to do with the actual timeline, but I'm going to assume that's a timeline hint. So if the tree is accurate, and we know it's after November 2026, are we talking like April of 2027? Wow, that's craziness. So now, this is why I'm saying I think it's Kamala's senior year, because her junior year begins in September to October of 2025 and would end in June of 2026. Her senior year would start then in September of 2027. So there's potentially a year and a half between that Miss Marvel's show and the Miss Marvel end credit scene. That's crazy. That's just crazy. The only good thing about that is Marvel maybe is moving forward so that people age naturally, because obviously Kamala, or the actress, Aman Vellani, has aged. So maybe therefore Kamala should age. I mean, Peter Parker aged with each appearance, moving from the sophomore year to junior year to senior year number 2, and then finally getting ready for college. Okay, I guess that makes sense, but wow, I would never have guessed April of 2027 for the Eternals, or for the Marvels. Wild, just wild. All right, there you go. That is the Marvels trailer number 2. I always mention that we have a Discord server. Notice here we are talking about the trailer release. And you can join if you'd like. I'll put a pinned comment so you can find a link. Also, if you don't mind, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out more content, and we'll all continue to enjoy the ever-changing, ever-expanding Marvel Cinematic Universe.